Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. Thanks for subscribing and liking, and thanks for continuing to watch these videos. It means a lot to me. So as you know, if you watched my previous video, if not, go check it out. I went on a road trip with my best friend Leah to California, San Diego. So it was a great time. Wasn't too bad as I thought it would be with COVID, and that's what I'm here to talk to you guys about today. Is during this time, even though it's very difficult to kind of like travel and to be able to socialize while maintaining proper distance, there are some ways around it that you can still travel. So there's still some beaches open in California. The one we went to was Moonlight Beach. I know La Jolla was open as well, but as you may have seen in that video, way too packed to go to, so went back to Moonlight Beach. And there's a lot of other ones that are open as well. So you kind of just have to not have a set plan in mind. Our goal for this was just to drive, to just go and escape and stay with her sister in San Diego and just be on the beach and do what we could. So we didn't have huge expectations for this. And there's a couple points that I want to bring up about tips that I've learned from traveling in COVID and then specific to California. So step one with COVID, of course, with most places in the States, you have to wear a mask. And I think in the country, actually, you have to wear masks, especially on planes. So the nice thing about doing a road trip is, one, it's not only less expensive for people like me, college students, but two, you don't have to wear a mask while in the car. So that part is super nice. And the beaches, I was expecting to have to wear a mask actually on the beach while we were sitting there, but they only had us wear a mask as we were like coming in and going out, just kind of crossing paths with people. And so it was honestly not as bad as I thought it was going to be. People weren't as over the top as I expected. So the one thing in California is just you have to respect those laws for wearing the masks. I mean, in any place you do, but I feel like they are pretty strict in California. And I think one of the main reasons is because they were allowed to open some of the beaches again, and so they're just trying to stay super strict so they can keep those beaches open and maintained. So with that brings me to the second tip to remember while traveling with COVID. Keep your distance. But it is very important to keep distance, just not only for you necessarily, even if you don't think that it will really make a difference. It's just nice to do that for other people, because there are some people that are dealing with this and struggling with this, and not everyone is feeling the impact, but a lot of people are. So we kind of have to remember that when being around people, and that's kind of hard to do, but definitely just keeping a little bit of space and just being aware of the people around you, how they're acting. I think that was the biggest thing in California, was you definitely got some weird looks if you were too close to somebody, as you probably would anywhere, but especially there, and wearing masks. So people were wearing them all the time while they were running, while they were biking. So I feel like the main thing is just to, no matter what state you're visiting, or country for that matter, but right now you probably don't want to go on an airplane. Quick preview for next week's video about airplanes. I get very sidetracked, sorry. So quick review. I actually am going on an airplane to fly up to Oregon to go visit my boyfriend, and we're gonna drive back to Arizona where we live. And so I'm gonna tell you all about that. I'm gonna make a whole nother video about traveling with COVID on airplanes, but this one is just for like road trip specific and for state specific in the US and California. So as I was saying, with any state, but especially California, read up on their laws, because they're changing constantly, of what's open, when you have to wear them, I think now most places are requiring them, and if they are, they usually provide something, but there's still some other places that have their own specific laws or are mandating it a little bit more. They're just more strict with everything. So those are the two things: masks, social distance. Obviously you guys have heard that a million times, so not that surprising. But now down to the real tips of traveling during this time. The most important thing is to just take the opportunities that are given to you. So even if you have just one day of your weekend or a day off, something happens, I think during this time, especially as a college student, you have to take those moments because you're so stuck inside. And like, I know everyone wants to go outside right now, but take those moments to just get outside. Even if it's just walking or being in the woods or being outside, there's something about it that just helps you. So whether you're traveling short distances, just somewhere in a car just driving, or if you're traveling across state and doing a road trip, it is so important to keep all of that in mind and to just be open and to take things as they come, because you don't know how long it's gonna last like that. You really don't. So I was actually surprised how easy it was kind of to travel with COVID going on. I thought it would be super hard, like even just going into a different state, that there's gonna be people stopping us and people like checking on us and telling us to quarantine because we came from a different state, which you may believe that, and that's totally fine. All for it, for whatever you think is the best method, because there's been so many different things going on, so many different rules. So, but I was just surprised with how simple it was to travel with in the car. So I would say one thing to keep in mind while you're planning a road trip, especially, or any trip during this time, is don't let it discourage you. Yes, we have to be safe, we have to follow laws, but don't let that discourage you from actually going out and exploring, because being outdoors and away from people obviously is better than being indoors in close quarters to people. So the last point I wanted to bring up with traveling during COVID is we're in a really unique situation right now where most students are doing online, at least for right now, for the end of this month, maybe longer, a couple months. And for me, we are going online until the end of August at the moment. So that's great news, even though it's hard. It's great news because it gives us more opportunity to do things. So a lot of teachers are being flexible right now, and that's great. So that's why I'm able to take this trip to go to Oregon and be able to do this whole road trip back. One of the great things about doing a road trip is you're able to still see stuff, and you're able to maintain distance, and you're just with the person you want to be with. And it's a really great opportunity that I think everyone should kind of lean towards more during this point, versus looking at big trips that you want to visit, just kind of doing little things at a time. So especially right now while we're starting school and we are online, take advantage of that. You know, go do your classes somewhere outside or creative, or travel a little ways to do it. And I promise you it'll help this whole pandemic situation feel a little bit better, so you don't feel as trapped and like you're not able to travel as much. So if you guys have any questions with traveling during COVID, like I said, I'll give you kind of like a rundown after I actually travel on the plane, but please let me know. I'd love to hear from you guys, and thank you so much. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Till next time, bye.